Look at these faces. Different eyes, different bone structure, different skin tones, different expressions, all from one country, Ukraine. Across social media, travel documentaries, modeling agencies, and everyday conversations, people keep repeating the same idea. Ukrainian women are unusually beautiful. But look closer, they don't share one look. Some appear Nordic, some Mediterranean, some Central European, some distinctly Eastern. High cheekbones here, soft jawlines there, light eyes paired with dark hair, dark eyes framed by pale skin. So here's the real question. How does one country produce so much visible facial diversity and at the same time earn such a strong global reputation for beauty? This isn't about makeup. It isn't fashion. It isn't modern trends. And it definitely isn't ranking people. The answer is much older. The answer is geography, because beauty perception is often geography in disguise. Ukraine does not sit quietly on the edge of Europe. It sits in the middle of a continental highway. To the west lies Central Europe. To the east stretches the Eurasian steppe. To the south opens the Black Sea. To the north spread vast forest belts reaching toward the Baltic world. Ukraine is not a corner. It is a corridor. For thousands of years, people moved through this land. Farmers expanding fields, nomads crossing grasslands, merchants following river systems, armies marching east and west, refugees escaping conflict, students seeking opportunity, workers chasing industry. Unlike regions protected by mountains or oceans, Ukraine is wide, flat, and open. Historically, this matters more than borders because open terrain invites movement. Movement creates mixing. Mixing creates variation. And variation reshapes faces. This is the foundation of everything. Long before modern nations existed, East Slavic agricultural communities settled across these plains. They followed rivers. They cleared forests. They built villages. They cultivated black soil. They expanded slowly outward. But even at this early stage, Ukraine was never homogeneous. Northern populations tended toward lighter pigmentation, shaped by forest ecology and colder climates. Southern regions already showed broader variation because of proximity to steppe routes. Western zones absorbed Central European influences through trade and shifting medieval borders. From the beginning, Ukraine contained internal differences. Then history accelerated. The Eurasian steppe functioned like a conveyor belt of civilizations: Scythians, Sarmatians, Goths, Huns, Avars, later Turkic peoples. These weren't just military incursions, they were demographic events. Some groups passed through, some settled, some intermarried. Each wave left genetic echoes behind. Meanwhile, the Black Sea connected Ukraine to Mediterranean trade networks. Greek colonies appeared along the coast. Merchants moved grain, wine, metals, and people. Ports became melting points. Faces changed. To the west, Ukraine was pulled into Central European orbit for centuries. Borders shifted repeatedly. Polish-Lithuanian rule, Habsburg administration, urban guilds, Catholic institutions, Jewish communities. Each layer added complexity. To the east, the open plains invited later industrial migration. Factories drew workers from across the empire. Cities expanded. Population density exploded. Once again, ancestry recombined. Ukraine became a layered landscape of movement, not one migration, many. Now divide the country geographically. In the north, forests and wetlands slowed travel. Populations remained more isolated. Over generations, lighter pigmentation and narrower facial structures became statistically more common. Not universally, but noticeably. In the West, proximity to Central Europe brought centuries of cultural and genetic exchange. Trade routes ran through towns and valleys. Marriages crossed borders. Facial patterns often resemble neighboring European populations. Cities like Lviv absorbed influences from multiple directions. In the south, the Black Sea corridor acted as a gateway to distant worlds. Greek traders, Ottoman routes, Mediterranean contacts. steppe travelers, all layered over Slavic foundations. Odessa emerged as a cosmopolitan port long before globalization became a word. In the east, vast open plains allowed continuous movement. Earlier nomadic flows were followed later by Soviet industrial reshuffling. Entire populations were relocated. New communities formed. Faces blended again, same nationality. Different geographic histories, and geography shapes faces. But here's where it becomes interesting. When populations mix across regions, several things happen at once. Facial variation increases. You get more combinations of traits. Bone structure ranges widen. Pigmentation spreads across a broader spectrum. You begin to see light eyes paired with dark hair, sharp cheekbones alongside softer jawlines, delicate features next to stronger facial geometry. Human perception is highly sensitive to contrast. Contrast draws attention. Attention becomes memory. Memory becomes reputation. This isn't superiority, it's statistics. Mixed regions tend to generate wider distributions of appearance. That wider distribution produces more visually striking individuals. And when striking faces appear frequently enough, outsiders interpret that frequency as beauty concentration. Now add cities. Cities amplify everything. For centuries, Ukrainian urban centers pulled people from every direction: students, traders, workers, artists, military personnel, displaced families. Cities expand marriage pools dramatically. Rural villages preserve ancestry longer. Cities remix it. Kyiv became a gravitational hub, drawing people from across the country. Odessa attracted maritime traffic and multicultural settlement. Lviv absorbed Central European currents. Urban environments compress diversity into small spaces. They accelerate recombination. They produce contrast-rich populations. And here's the crucial part. What the outside world mostly sees are cities, travelers, media, photography, modeling, social platforms. Urban faces dominate global perception, not rural averages. Cities become display windows. Then psychology completes the illusion. People don't remember averages. They remember extremes. They don't notice typical faces, they notice striking ones. Ukraine's geography produces wide variation. Wide variation creates more outliers. Outliers shape international impressions. Beauty reputation emerges from distribution, not perfection. This leads to a major misunderstanding. People assume beauty comes from genetics alone, or culture, or fashion, but much of it comes from migration history, from layered populations, from open landscapes that allowed centuries of movement. Ukraine sits exactly where worlds meet. Its plains never stopped people from passing through. Every century added another thread. Over time, those threads wove complex patterns into faces. Variation created contrast. Contrast attracted attention. Attention became reputation. There is no single Ukrainian look. There never was. What people call Ukrainian beauty is not magic, not social media, not genetics by itself. It is geography. It is corridors instead of corners. It is open plains instead of mountains. It is cities remixing ancestry. It is history written quietly into bone structure. Faces are archives. They record movement. They preserve migrations. They carry echoes of vanished empires. Beauty, in this case, is history made visible. And once you understand that, you start seeing the world differently. Because the same forces exist everywhere. Where land is open, faces diversify. Where populations mix, contrast increases. Where cities concentrate ancestry, perception shifts. Geography shapes people. People shape culture. Culture shapes reputation. Beauty follows movement, not borders. Faces tell stories, and geography writes them.